sauce, gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another MatPat film theory reaction. That is right, I was actually literally just getting ready to react to his brand new game theory, and I got a notification that his new film theory popped, and it is film theory. Bluey is a witch question mark. Now we have recently gotten into Bluey because we reacted to the Odd Ones Out video about Bluey. And I'm like, you know what? We're gonna quickly pivot, check this out, and then we'll get into game theory because as you guys know, MatPat is retiring from YouTube in about 2 months. So I wanna react to as much MatPat as we can because you know he's been a major staple of this channel and this family, and we absolutely love him. But before we jump into this, can you show MatPat at Film Theory some love by subscribing to his channel? And fam, we've officially hit 100,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to 250,000, so if you haven't yet, please smash that subscribe button, join the Sauce Gang family. But enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo -woo. Oh, cause it's a film theory. Let's learn about Bluey. Bluey's a witch! Oh shit. Lightning scary. I mean, some people think it is. Is he cooking himself?
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's gone barking mad.
Oh, 9 theories remain, bruh. That's
Today
so
we're heading
sad.
back into the wonderful world of Bluey, the hit animated show coming to us live from the land down under. In case you missed out on this one, Bluey's all about a family of dogs known as the Healers. There's Bluey, her sister Bingo, her father Bandit, and her mum Chili. Each 8-minute episode sees them engaging in simple everyday adventures like playing keepy-uppy with a balloon or preparing for the family barbecue, all in a way that's super fun for kids and super relatable for adults.
This is great. They're learning a lesson and we get the house clean.
But what's really made Bluey iconic are the episodes that focus on the wild imagination games that the family plays, which range from whale watching to pretending there's a fairy causing mischief in the house to their dad acting as a human claw machine.
Insert coin for awesome prizes.
Legitimately, this is one of the best animated kids shows that I've seen in years, tackling all the joys and stresses that are both childhood and parenting in like the purest way possible. It is so good. True story, I started watching the show with Ollie about a year ago, and while he's now graduated up into the world of Gravity Falls, I'm so proud of you, buddy. I'm still late night binging episodes of Bluey and relating hard to
That's what James
Bandit.
Odd Ones Out told us.
The more one question.
And then you guys let me know too, like everybody watches this, that it is definitely like family friendly. Kids love it, but adults love it too.
Lingers in my mind. Is magic real in this world? You see, the imagination on display as the characters play their games really goes to the next level. Like, really. These characters are incredibly invested in their backyard adventures. Whether it's something like a very aggressive puppet.
I can handle this, Mom. Tentacles!
Ow! My back! My neck! My back!
My neck and my back!
Whiplash! Call my lawyer!
To something as elaborate as becoming an escaped monkey rampaging through the yard.
Why are you scratching your butt with a... What are those called? A noodle!
Would you like to see our reptile section?
And while most of it can be written off as just parents committing to the bit to like the nth degree, there are other moments in the show that seem impossible to believe, like the episode where the kids literally learn to use magic to influence their surroundings, or when Bingo uses a feather wand to turn everything heavy.
Witchcraftery?
Heavy.
Oh, what's going on?
And as you really watch the show, more and more of these strange things keep popping up. These imaginary games seem to have a ridiculous amount of influence on both the characters and the world around them. Enough so that I just kind of have to ask, is magic real in Bluey? Are all of these games actually the result of the characters casting spells, hexes, and charms on each other?
Harry
After
Potter?
getting back into the world of Bluey
Harry
and putting
Potter?
out some classic theorist tricks, I believe that I can definitively prove the answer to be yes. Grab your wands and sticky geckos, friends, as we dig into the bona fide evidence of the magical conspiracy taking place in the world of Bluey. Now, on the surface, you might look at a bunch of these games and just think that it's the imagination of children at work, that they're just very invested in their games. But there's commitment, and then there's just going way beyond what you'd expect to come out of real kids at these ages. Like, to the point that these games don't feel like a bunch of toddlers playing make-believe games anymore. And this is firmly on display from the very first episode of the series. In episode 1, Magic Xylophone, we see Bluey and Bingo playing with a xylophone that can freeze anyone in place. They just straight up stop mid-step and mid-sentence. At first, Bingo and Bluey use the xylophone to freeze Bandit in place and play some
Freeze! Don't... Or... Oh, it's on Toy Story. Freeze! Reach for the sky.
Thanks on him. And
Love
he
that
commits
movie.
to the bit so much that he's frozen when the kids aren't around, and the neighbors start giving him funny looks. Now, to be fair, you could absolutely just chalk that up to a good old dad playing along with the kids. But here's the thing. Later in the episode, Bingo gets upset because Bluey won't let her have a turn with the xylophone. And when she finally gets a hold of it later on in the episode, Bingo uses it to freeze Bluey, and it works. If Bluey truly wants the xylophone as badly as she does and doesn't want to play along, this 7-year-old girl, she could just easily break the rules of the game and take it from Bingo, but she doesn't. Instead, she gets a pretty serious heart-to-heart with Bingo while frozen.
You always never take turns with me, and it makes me feel sad.
Now, this wouldn't be such a big deal if this was just a one-off event, but it's not. This sort of extreme imagination game is a common occurrence throughout the series. In the episode Feather Wand, again, this is the one where Bingo uses a feather to turn things heavy, we see her turn the toilet seat heavy just as her dad's getting ready to do his business. And instead of breaking from the game, he chooses to run downstairs and relieve himself, well, it's unclear where exactly, but it's implied
Where?
to be
You
in the
been
front
in the
yard based
street?
on Chili's scream and Bandit greeting the neighbor.
Morning, Wendy.
I mean, you could be committed to a game, sure, but in this moment,
Pause.
Bandit's exposing himself to his loved ones and his neighbors in a completely inappropriate way.
You can't show your
indecency
neighbors you're
is
wanky.
literally a crime. Are you doing that just for the sake of an imagination game for your 4- and 7-year-olds?
Magic!
Speaking of being
Black
inappropriate,
magic!
there are also instances like the Season 2 episode Dance Mode, where the kids are given 3 chances to flick one of their parents' tails and say, which forces the parent to dance no matter where they are. Seems like it should be a fun game, right? Well, it would be if the kids didn't decide to use it on Chili when she's crossing the road.
Ooh, shake it, Chili.
Now, obviously, this is super embarrassing for
That's
Chili,
not
but
safe.
look at her dance moves. If she were truly in full control of her body and wanted to get out of the situation, she could turn away from the crowd of cars so she doesn't have to face them, or use moves that move her further along in the street
Moves
faster.
like
Instead,
Jagger.
she's shaking her thing in front of Wendy's windshield. Wendy apparently is just the recipient of a lot of these embarrassing
Shake your
healer
groove
moments. Now, again,
thing,
if this
shake
was just a
your
one-off
groove.
event, we could just ignore it, but it happens again to Bandit in the post office.
Are you okay? I'm fine. Just ignore this.
This right here is just disrespectful to both the store clerk and the massive line of people waiting behind him. Even when the store clerk politely asks him to stop, Bandit says that he can't.
If you could just stop dancing for a moment. I would if I could, mate. Hey, Twinkle Toes, hurry up!
It's either magic or the healers just suck.
Magic.
And it's here, when the
I think it's
games start
magic.
to affect their everyday lives, when you really start to see the pretend nature of the games break down. For instance, let's take a look at Season 3's episode Sheepdog, where Bandit pretends to be a
Witchcraftery.
sheep to distract the
Bluey's
kids
a
away from
witch.
bothering their mom. But here's the thing, when Bluey isn't looking, Sheep Bandit still decides to break into Wendy's yard and start eating her laundry. He even headbutts her in the rear end when she threatens to bring in Chili. That right there, again, is a level of commitment that's either the result of magic or just extreme irresponsibility on the part of Bandit. Also, seriously, Wendy has got to be the most patient neighbor ever to be living next to these public nuisances.
Dude, I
But the
mean,
thing
if
that
you have a
really
house,
decides
you
it
got
is
that one
even when the
neighbor.
kids
You got that
stop
one neighbor
playing
that's
the
just
game,
a little
Bandit
out there.
doesn't
You're like,
drop the act. He is still acting like a sheep 20 minutes later, while his kids have been upstairs playing with the neighbor and his wife is just wrapping up her alone time.
Is everything okay? Yep.
Why is he still doing it when everyone else has moved on from the game? But perhaps most compelling of all is Daddy Drop-Off, when Bandit has
ruh-roh.
to take the kids to school and they're running late. And yet, just as he's running to the car, Bingo finds a leaf and uses it to trap Bandit in slow motion.
Rack 'em and stack 'em, kids. We gotta.
If Bandit's late getting his kids to school, you'd think that he'd just ignore the game and get them
How
in the
do you
car.
drive
That'd be
in
the
slow
responsible
motion? Just
thing.
really
He can make
slow?
something up about how school negates the imaginary game, or how this leaf isn't actually a magic wand, or literally anything so he can do the responsible thing and get his kids to school on time. But again, he acts like there isn't a choice here. He acts like he's been under a magic
a spell?
The slow motion spell is only released when Bingo waves the wand again, leading to Bandit smacking into his car. But hold on, Bandit is released from the spell when Bingo waves the wand, sure, but she's standing behind him. If this were truly a pretend game,
How would he
there's
know?
no physical way he'd be
How
able
would
to
he
know
know?
when she waved that wand. We don't even see his eyes moving or tracking behind him to look at her. Watch the clip again.
whoa.
In fact, we can actually go one step deeper. Here's the scene in a video editor where we can see the visuals and audio track. Check this out. Bingo saying, "Yeah," and the wand wave sound effect, they're right here. They're actually occurring after the wand is waved and Bandit's released. This right here shows us that there's no way Bandit would know to have sped back up again based on sound or visual cues. It can only be explained using real magic. And this is how we know magic exists in the real world.
For
Dang my dog! Dang
Bluey, for real life,
magicians!
because we get physical
Dang
proof
magicians
of
up in
that
here!
existing. Like here, where Bingo sneaks into the bathroom, heavies Bluey's toothbrush without her hearing, and it just magically works.
Ugh, that's weird. Ooh, it's heavy.
Up to this point, Bluey hasn't been a part of the game, so she wouldn't know that things are meant to be heavy. And while she could just be pretending to not see or hear Bingo, the way her reactions are
black
animated
magic?
certainly seems to
Oh,
indicate that
witchcraft,
Bluey is
right?
unaware of anything that's going on. But the piece of evidence that really seals it, the one that is irrefutable and definitely proves that magic exists in this world, happens a bit later that same episode. At the top of the episode, we watch as Bingo uses the feather wand to make her dad's cereal box, bowl, and spoon heavy, forcing them all to the floor. And throughout the episode, we check in on Bandit as he attempts to prepare his breakfast. But there's one moment that absolutely stands out.
What's wrong?
The thing's bending. That spoon would be moving.
Lift spoons?
Did you catch it? Here, as Bandit tries to use this broom and rugby ball to pry the spoon off the floor, the broom physically bends, and that ball is squeezed under the heavy weight of the spoon.
Yeah.
And we see the broom bend starting at the spoon. There is no way that this could happen if the spoon was at
No,
its normal weight.
0%
Literally
magic!
no physical way for that to
0%
happen.
chance!
Therefore, the feather
Has to
wand
be magic.
actually had to have worked on that spoon, giving us even more definitive proof that magic actually exists in the Bluey-verse. And that suddenly puts other episodes into a whole new context. For instance,
Whole
in the
new.
season 1 episode Fairies, the healer household is bombarded with shenanigans brought about by the dreaded fairies.
You know what this means?
What?
We've got fairies!
Now, a lot of this episode is framed as Bandit trying to make up to Bingo for ignoring her earlier in the day. And on a surface level, you might just watch this episode and think that the parents are making the
Well, there's
magic
really
happen
fairies.
for their kids. But for as much as the parents here could have made some of the things in the episode happen, there is no way they did all of it. For instance, midway through the episode, everyone's hiding in the closet, and Bingo is tasked with finding clues as to what the fairies might want in order to leave him alone. When she returns sometime later, the house's sitting room is a disaster. Toys and trash are scattered everywhere. Figurines are hanging from the ceiling. Koalas just chilling. Like I said, this is an Australian show. It's implied that Bingo was the one doing all this, but there's just no way. In order to hang those koalas from the walls and that shoe in the middle of the room, she would have needed a stepladder that's at minimum 8 times her own height. And for as much as Chili and Bandit disregard the needs and safety of their fellow neighbors, I don't think that even they would allow their favorite 4-year-old to use something like that unsupervised. But still, that
point.
little bit, it's happening off camera. What about something that's happening on camera in real time? That'd be pretty convincing, right? Well, in that very same episode, after discovering a fairy ring with Bandit's phone inside, they turn around and find that the entire yard has been covered in fairy rings. There is no way that Bandit and Chili could have set all of these up. We see them in literally every scene leading up to this big reveal. And if those rings had already been there, Bingo and Bluey would have already seen them. And if they're just pretending to not see them,
Don't you
we'd
hate
get
when
a Bingo
fairies do that?
reaction looking like this. Her eyes are huge. She is shooketh by those rings. But we don't just
Shooketh
have
by
to
the
assume here
fairies.
either. Again, we
The
get
fairies
physical
shooketh
proof
thee.
that they weren't there a second ago. Well,
They
the camera
shooketh.
does its best to try and frame out the rest of the yard for the bulk of the scene. Look at where Bluey's standing relative to that first fairy ring. If you map her position out relative to the wide shot that we later cut to, technically we should have been able to see that tablet fairy ring in the bottom right corner of the screen. But it's not there until Bluey notices all the rest of the fairy rings across the yard. This had to have been done using magic. So, am I saying that fairies exist in the Bluey-verse? You bet I am. At the end of the episode, Bingo straight up
you're
sees the
tooting
fairy
right,
setting up her
I am.
dominoes in the same heart shape that Bingo made for her dad. Well, it could just be imaginary, and the show tries to leave it open for interpretation. All the physical proof we have, from bending brooms to fairy rings to slow motion wands, prove otherwise. And now that we have a couple undeniable pieces of proof that magic exists here, so what? I mean, that's crazy and all, but why should we care about this? Well, we can actually track the source of the magic, and it's none other than... If you look back through all the episodes and evidence, you'll
mom's a
realize that
witch?
many of the imaginary games played throughout the series are actually all created by Chili using some form of magic. Some examples: in Asparagus, Chili gives Bluey a piece of asparagus and explains,
It's a magic asparagus. It turns people into any animal you want.
Chili's whispering this to Bluey, so Bandit and Bingo can't hear her and know what the game is. And yet when Bluey shouts, Bandit immediately turns into a donkey. Chili's created a magic item and is teaching her kids to do the same all throughout the series. Magic that
just
again
one
goes a
big
bit too
witch
far when
family.
Bluey transforms her dad from a peacock to a walrus and causes him to tumble out of a tree, landing on his back. That's not playing along for the funsies, that is risking severe personal injury. Additionally, Chili's often shown to be able to control the magic within the games that Bluey and Bingo come up with. In the episode Magic, when Chili sees Bluey and Bingo using magic on Bandit, the kids run and she's able to stop them.
Who taught you how to use magic.
In fact, Bluey just straight up confirms that she learned to use her magic from Mom.
You use magic. Magic? Yeah, you can use it to make people do anything. Mum taught me.
Honestly, I could go on and
Yeah,
on. Like
see
in the
right
ending
there.
of that very same episode
Matt
where
Pat
Bingo
solved it
uses
once
magic
again,
to push her
chat.
dad down
Once
and force
again.
her mom to the door, all without dad looking. Regardless, I think that the one big key takeaway of all of this is
Mama.
whether it's extreme pretend or real magic, the healers would suck to have in your neighborhood. Oh, sure,
real.
this magical family may seem charming to all of us happiness-starved children of the internet for their love and commitment to play, but that's us looking in from the outside, removed from the situation. As we've seen here today, this one family disrupts the flow of daily life for literally everyone around them. Whether it's in the line at the post office, or when you're trying to dry your laundry in the front yard, or when your name is Lucky's dad and you're getting mauled by magical crocodiles, attacked by magical snakes, or just gnawed by lions.
Lions, tigers, and bears on my
Imagine how it would
chat.
feel to have your adult neighbor pop out of a bush and start gnawing at your foot. There's childlike whimsy and spreading of joy, sure, and then there's assault of your fellow
Like a
human,
corn
fellow
cob.
dog,
Corn on the cob.
creature.
Corn on the cob.
So while it might seem
Corn
to be
cob.
all fun and
Cob
games for
corn?
Bluey and Bingo, living close to these monsters would be literally anything but. But hey, that's just a theory. A
Film theory. Thanks and cut. Aw. Bruh! Matt Pat, we miss you. Let me bring you in chat. Dude. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be sad, dude. It's gonna be a sad day in 2 months when Matt Pat's done. And I think until then, you know, maybe minus, I'm not sure about style theory, but we're gonna be checking out as many game theory and film theories as we can get. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, Bluey, I don't know. I definitely need to like peep this out with my kids or something, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Make sure you show Matt Pat at Film Theory some love by subscribing to his channel. And again, fam, we're trying to get to 250,000 subs. So if you haven't yet, please smash that subscribe button. Join the Sauce Gang family. Enjoy your weekend. It's really cold here in the Midwest, like negative 20 degrees. And remember, it's eat, sleep, and make beats, and as usual, be kind of one another. That's all I got. Boom, I'm out. Got my love for the Sauce Gang. Peace out, champ.